There is a holy trinity of Radiohead albums: OK Computer, Kid A, and the album that I'm going to be talking about today, In Rainbows. In Rainbows feels like a mix of their two acclaimed albums, OK Computer and Kid A. It has some of the classical instrumentation of OK Computer and some of the digital from Kid A. Basically, it's a mix between both of them. I'm going to be breaking this album down track by track and explaining the beauty of it and how some people see it as the happiest Radiohead album, but I just can't see it like that. So yeah, without wasting too much of your time, let's get into the first track. 15 Step is the intro of In Rainbows, and it's actually one of the most danceable Radiohead songs. There was an AI that made like a list of what are the happiest and what are the saddest Radiohead songs. I think this was voted as the happiest. The drums are electronic, at least to some degree. The hi-hats have some sort of distortion to them because I think they're made out of white noise. And the drums are all over the place in the headphones. Going from left to right, it's something cool, and it feels like all the colors on the cover. It sounds very colorful, if you could say. There are a lot of segments of the songs that let the drums shine, and in general, the song isn't that full with vocals. It lets the instrumental kind of do its thing. There is a really nice guitar in the left ear that moves to the right at some point in the song, and it's very well spaced. Every instrument, every little noise is very nicely separated. It truly feels like, well, colorful space, if you could put it that way, but also at some parts it sounds pretty dramatic during the drum breaks. As moving and dancey this song is, the subject matter couldn't be further from that. It's about someone being stuck in place, feeling like they're stuck in place. How come I end up where I started? How come I end up where I belong? Won't take my eyes off the ball again. Promising to himself that he can advance, that he can progress, and then he can do stuff, but ultimately leads to coming back in the same place. It's from the perspective of the speaker. He questions, what happened? You used to be alright, what happened? Did the cat get your tongue? Did your string come undone? This could be meant for another person, or it could be to himself, maybe to another person, as in, you know, they used to talk, they were close, they were maybe in a relationship. And this could also be to himself. Maybe he has kind of distanced himself from other people, from being in public, and so on. And even realizing that death is coming one by one. It comes to all, as he says. 15 Step, the title, I believe, means that he can take steps forward, but as he says in the lyrics, he will experience a sheer drop and go back to where he was. He's getting closer to death, and it feels like he's not doing anything with his life. Body Snatchers features very harsh sounding guitars, reminiscing a lot of Radiohead's older stuff to me, except just, I don't know, it just sounds better. But that's not the highlight of this song. The song builds up slowly, and it eventually has a switch around the halfway mark. The heavy guitars come back, and it breaks down into a solo, if you can call it that, I guess. It's very loud, there is a lot happening, and yet again, we're getting breaks from all the big noise to appreciate the melodies. But then it gets louder again. The guitars are separated in the ears, and they are harsh and loud. It's an incredibly intense track. The subject matter here is about people being stuck with society's habits and behavior, doing as other people do, and being stuck in a boring life that they don't want to live. It's one of their harshest sounding songs, and I love it. Is one of Radiohead's best songs, and I can comfortably say it's a highlight in their discography. It's an incredibly spacious song that truly feels like space. The standout instrument on the song is the bass. It's deep and very smooth sounding, very soothing. The melody is very light, extremely reverbed pads that take up space in the back of the track, as Tom's vocals are also heavily reverbed, swishing around the ears. There is an acoustic guitar in the right and an electric guitar in the left ear. I'm gonna be honest, I've cried at how beautiful this song is. Okay, yeah. The lyrics are also sad, but just the sound of it, how beautiful it is, how nice it sounds, it's enough to make me cry. Tom's vocals here are incredible, singing very softly and holding the notes, and this is why I think he's one of the best singers of all time, if not my favorite singer ever. He sounds so angelic on here, and it's something else. It really is something else. The subject matter of the song, which I did mention before, is extremely depressing. It's about achieving stuff, big ideas, but realizing there's no point in doing them since, it's pointless. You're never going to be truly satisfied. As well as, I believe, again, commentary on how people choose to stick to living a normal life rather than chasing their dreams and doing what they want to do. So far, we have seen a lot of commentary about society on this album, and it's some very fair criticism of people. It's a bit of a comfort song for me, and it's not just a song, it's a moment. It's such a wide soundscape, and you can stare into the cover, and that's Nude. That is the song. You look into the cover, and that is what I see for Nude. So big sounding, so depressing, yet so comforting at the same time. So hollow and empty, yet the bass creates such a nice contrast. Such angelic and soothing vocals. It's really just something else. This song is, I think, the fan favorite from this album, alongside with maybe Jigsaw Falling Into Place and Nude. Those seem to be pretty much everyone's top 3, and yeah, I think they're my top 3 as well. But I mean, it's not hard to understand why this song is one of people's favorites. It starts off with these millisecond accurate drums from Phil, and I've watched live performances of this song. I watched the Basement performance of this. He literally does it the same way every single time at performing. I know this man is a living metronome. We get introduced to soft electric guitars. The notes stand out a lot, and I really like when Radiohead do that. The melodies develop as the song goes on, and I feel like it's one of Radiohead's most well orchestrated songs. It's a bit hypnotic, I'd say. For the first half of the song, this keeps going. We get a switch ups in the melody, but it's still the same guitars as more of them get added. The drums develop, getting more intense, and there's huge build up. And around the middle of the song, it slows down. Tom sings, "I get eaten by the worms and weird fishes, picked over by the worms and weird fishes." Oh, and by the way, fun fact, I didn't know this before knowing about this song. So you know how you say fish for plural for a fish? Well, that's, you know, the plural of fish is just fish. Well, fishes is actually technically not wrong. Fish would be for the same fish, like, you know, the same type of fish. Well, fishes would be multiple different kinds of fishes. Yeah, I don't know why that information was needed to you, but there you go, now you know. Most of the instrumental is stripped back at this point, and then the drums come in. These weird noises going from ear to ear get introduced. Slight bits of white noise coming in from ear to ear. The guitars come back. There is this magical sounding noise right in the middle of the track, and it keeps just repeating. Tom talks about hitting the bottom as this hypnotic mix of drums and overlapping guitar melodies engulf you. It's incredible what music can do. This 2-track run is some of the most spacious sounding songs I have ever heard. Then we get into the middle section of the album. All I Need, False Start, Reckoner, and House of Cards all add to the feel of In Rainbows. Now, I think the first 4 songs of this album are literally all maybe 10s, well, I don't know, maybe. But what I'm trying to say is, I think they're all amazing, and these 4, they don't quite stand out as much, even though on any other album they would be the best song probably, especially Reckoner. Okay, I'm gonna get into it right now, but yeah, about these 4 tracks, they don't even feel like the main tracks, if you get what I mean. Every album has tracks that are meant to fill in a spot and serve its purpose, and tracks that are meant to stand out and be more emotionally impactful. The first 4 songs feel like the latter, while these 4 feel like the former, but they're still so good that they'd be standouts on any other album. All I Need gets really busy and the bass sounds very nice, a depressing love song about not getting attention back. False Start is mixed very nicely with the guitars in your ears. It's the speaker realizing they're living in a disappointing life. Reckoner, as I said, is one of the biggest sounding songs I have ever heard, and that is not an understatement. Genuinely, it sounds massive in your ear. There is a shaker in the left ear and drums in the right ear. There is a moment later in the track that's just pure euphoria. Everything is gone except from a single guitar melody and vocals from Tom York going around you. And the main vocals from Tom, they just get dragged all the way to the back of the head and to the back of the track, and it's something else. This is one of the prettiest and clearest sounding moments on the whole album, and it's genuinely incredible. The House of Cards is my least favorite song on the album, but hey, it's still not bad at all. But the last 2 tracks are among those emotionally impactful tracks I was talking about, the ones that are meant to be the big hitters. Although pretty much every song from here is a big hitter. In this song, Tom talks about being intoxicated, connecting with someone. Pretty much a drunken night out and him wanting to get closer to the person that he's talking to. It's an extremely wide sounding song, and again, like everything on this album, the instruments are very well separated. There is a break between the first and second verse where the instrumental builds. On the second verse, Tom has louder vocals and an extremely catchy delivery. And talking about catchiness, I really do feel like this is one of Radiohead's catchiest songs, if not their catchiest song, at least the guitar melody. There is yet another instrumental break as we get into the last verse in the last minute of the song, and the instrumental break drives the song forward. It helps it progress. Tom comes back in and there is this heavenly sound in the back of the track. Now, I'm not too sure what it is. It's probably some form of pad or reverse guitar. The guitars keep going, the drums keep going as Tom loudly sings his lyrics. Probably the catchiest moment of the album, and in general of any Radiohead song. This song was a single, and to be honest, you can tell it is a bit more casual, looking face forward at the lyrics. The way that it's written, the lyrics I mean, they are definitely more, I guess, basic, if you could say. But if you look deeper into the production of the song and the progression of the song, it is anything but an accessible radio hit. But there's some really nice bass driving this song, and the progression of the verses and how Tom's vocals get louder and more energetic as the song goes on makes it amazing. And then we have the outro, Videotape. It is one of Radiohead's most complex songs production-wise. It uses syncopation where the notes don't actually hit where they are supposed to be on the full bar. At least from what I understand, I am not a producer, I really don't know much about this.
Syncopation happens when you accent those notes outside of the beat on those ands.
It uses a very odd BPM, I think it's like 152.67, something, I don't know, something like that. And generally, it's a very oddly produced song. I don't know much about production and technicality, so I can't speak on that too much. The drums are weird, they're kind of staggered, and so is the melody. That's the syncopation there. It's a dark sounding song, and I feel like it's the perfect outro to the album. As we can tell by the lyrics, this is kind of a send out. This is a song he wants to be played at his funeral, basically. Or something that he wants to leave behind for his closest people to listen to or to look at on videotape. I think Tom has been recalled saying that this is his favorite song that they've done because of how interesting the production on it is, and I mean, that's fair. I don't think I can argue with him. Videotape is a sad ending to a sad album, unlike what some people say. I hope that I've broken this album down well enough, as it is probably my favorite Radiohead album, yes, even ahead of OK Computer and ahead of Kid A. And I really feel like it's one of the best albums of the 2010s and one of the best albums of all time, if I'm being honest. Yeah, next video, Radiohead Essentials. Please make sure you like and subscribe, that would mean so much to me, as it'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace!